I've been
That's
going
nice.
through some technical things, though. Number one, I will say this, folks. If I sound a little downtrodden, I've had one fucking hell of a week. And I'm not going to get into it, but I'm going to let you know that I've had one hell of a fucking week personally. And sometimes it's hard to departmentalize when you've had a beat down week. And a lot of people that listen to this can most likely relate to that. But one of the problems that I've had, or one of the issues that I've been struggling with, is my effing webcam. Now, I'm a camera operator. I'm a professional, contracted, paid camera operator for some very notable organizations. So camera work is something that I take extremely...
Lots of OnlyFans.
Yeah, I take it extremely seriously, and I am dissatisfied with my camera that I use, that I have been using to do Fat Guy Radio Show, and the camera that we have in that studio, and the camera that I have in my game room that I do the Jake and Cory show from. And I've been researching, and I've been pulling up articles and blog posts about what cameras all these Twitchers are using. And I look at Twitcher like Greek God X and Jelly Peanut, and they have this amazing, beautiful camera feed. And Jelly Peanut can take like a pen or something like that, or a Pokemon card, and hold it up to his camera, and his camera instantly focuses on the Pokemon card. And then when he takes the Pokemon card away, the camera instantly focuses back on him. I wanted to know what that is, and reaching out to these guys and asking them, they're not very forthcoming with the tricks of their trade that make them as good as they are.
A lot of them have, like, in their descriptions,
yes,
like their setup and stuff.
Blastoise does. Jelly Peanut does not, nor does Greek God X. And I'm too intimidated to reach out to these guys and ask. So I've been doing the research on my own. Lo and behold, I've been finding cameras that are ranging anywhere between $4,000 and $2,000.
Yeah, that's probably where these guys are, yeah.
Very expensive cameras. And I'm like battling within myself to say, am I really considering pulling the trigger on one of these cameras just to stream video games? I mean, this is a freaking car note worth of a camera. But then my other brain, Jake, is the techie guy. And you know who this guy is. The techie guy who says, it's time to get some new shit. It's some fun shit to do. So then now I've now moved from researching these cameras to now I'm looking at PTZ cameras where you can control them and manipulate them and move them around. And I'm like, it's a camera robot. And I'm like, these are now ranging from $300 to $800. And I'm like lost in this space to do something that I would probably use once a week. And I'm torn and I'm tossed with it. And I'm looking at this small little Microsoft Studio camera that was not cheap, but it does what it's supposed to do. But it goes out of focus so often on me, and it adjusts the white balance. All I want to do is control the iris, control the focal point, and control the contrast. That's all I want to do. Luckily, this Microsoft Studio camera doesn't allow me to do that because my laptop that I do streaming on is Windows 10, and this particular camera doesn't like to work with Windows 10. It's the only operating system that this camera does not like to work with.
Well, I've gone on like the complete opposite journey of you over the past week. If you don't mind me sharing. Right here, it's a little off screen. Maybe I can... Nope, you can't really see it. I bought a 13-inch CRT TV. It's set up right here. I've got a little Nintendo NES clone down there, so I could plug my NES into this little CRT. I've been playing some classic Tetris on my CRT TV. It's been a fantastic experience.
So what I'm hearing is that you took a trip this week back to 1985.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you got a big butt tube bulb TV that most likely has some mercury in there that's going to, okay, Jake's moving his camera so that I can see it. Jake, that camera's going to make your nuts shrivel. There's so much mercury and iridium inside of that old ass technology TV. You are going to have no testicles in a week. Why didn't you? How much did you spend on how much did you spend on that historic artifact that you have there on your desk?
Well, here's the fun bit. My camera angle's like totally fucked now. You're gonna have to deal with
That's
it.
That's okay.
But I went on Facebook Marketplace.
Enough said.
Someone was selling it for $20. I got this bad boy for $20. Some old guy,
Did you
wore
need?
masks,
Did you
just set it on the
require?
street for me to pick up?
Did you require it in order to play the classic Nintendo?
Well, because here's the thing: if you play, because the way Nintendo, all the way up until like the PS2 era of video games, PS3 is finally when we went HD.
Yes.
Right. So PS3s have HDMI ports. Before that, we had the AV cables, right?
Yes.
And if you plug an AV cable into a modern TV, a lot of them still have AV cables. A lot of them don't, but you can get a converter to HDMI. But what happens is you get a lot of delay on modern TVs if you plug those AV cables into a modern TV. So if you plug it into the old CRT, you get no delay because it's designed for the CRT TV. So
you know what? I can't hate on you, and I wanted to hate on you, and then
and on top of it, I did get a converter to HDMI, so I could split it into the CRT TV and then split it into my capture card into HDMI, so I can stream myself playing classic games. It's pretty hot. I'm pretty happy with it.
That sounds amazing, and you're appealing to my technical side. And I can't hate on you, even though how much I want to. And I was getting ready to go on to Walmart.com and order you a monitor with that converter. But I'm not going to do that now because I was thinking as you were talking, I have a 13-inch CRT TV in my son's closet as well. And not only is it a 13-inch CRT TV, it's
I should have just hit you up.
It's a wood paneled 13-inch
nice.
CRT TV, and it's been sitting in his closet. And I just realized while you were talking, that ancient artifact, I'm guilty of having one too.
Yeah, and it's small enough that it fits on my desk next to my computer.
It looks nice and snug from what you showed me. It looks nice and snug.
Yeah, it fits perfect. It's a little cramped now on my desk, but
so
it works.
So to sum up this opening, you were out shopping for a $20 50-year-old TV, and I was out shopping for a $50,000 20-minute DLC webcam because I have a sick passion to be the next Jelly Peanut, Greek God X, or XQC.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's about it. 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That's Cory. What is up, Cory?
Just sitting here counting how many Centrum Silver pills I have left in my old bottle here because I'm an old
This
fuck.
show is brought to you by Centrum Silver.
Centrum Silver for heart health, brain health, eye health, whole body health, and fat guy avoidance of the COVID-19 pandemic that doesn't leave his home.
Yeah. Oh God. I was thinking, the other day I was thinking about having just a heart procedure. I don't need a heart procedure, but I was thinking about what it would be like to have a heart procedure. And you know how like they do it now? Like they go up your fucking like groin and like they stick a tube up your up your and they keep you awake during it.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine?
No.
Oh God. That would be like,
when I think about that, Jake, only thing that comes to mind.
My heart stops thinking about it. Oh,
only
God.
thing that comes to mind is what becomes of the broken hearted. Who am I? Da, 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 da. I've got to find some kind of peace of mind, baby. I don't know the words, but
I would have harmonized with you, but the delay would have ruined it.
The delay would have been horrible. You could have fixed it in post, but yeah, nevertheless.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was totally random tangent.
I wanted to go in for a heart procedure just to have the tube up my groin.
Just to know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
I asked my doctor, do you have a home version of this game?
Yeah. You just go to a back alley somewhere. I'm sure someone will do it for you.
What is up, Jake?
I've just all week and last week we didn't have a show, so that's pretty unbelievable. So I'm feeling rested. I've missed you. I'm excited to be back.
This is all a lie.
Over the audience doesn't need to know it's a lie though, but it absolutely is.
Painting pictures with words, folks. Painting pictures with words.
But over the past week, I did nothing but listen to the impeachment hearings that have been happening all week. I don't know if you've kept up with it at all. The votes came in today. Surprise, surprise, Trump was not impeached. Yeah, ridiculous. But honestly, it was just like the most crazy thing. So like, initially they went up there to make a proposition on why Trump should be impeached, and they showed this video. I saw it. And this was a
12-minute video.
Yeah, you watched it?
I did.
It's horrifying. Like, they showed a lot more footage than a lot of us maybe saw on the day of.
They showed the footage from some of the security cameras inside the Capitol. Right. Folks, we literally saw, and I think this may have been the third or fourth time that it's ever made broadcast an appearance on TV. We saw the nuclear fucking football. That was in the building at the time that these riots were going on with the vice president. His nuclear football was rushed with him as they ushered him to his bunk to away for protection. The nuclear fucking football, folks. Jeez.
What is the nuclear football?
The nuclear football is the pack that has all of the nuclear codes to launch our nuclear weapons.
Oh.
Yes, our nuclear.
Pence had that?
Pence has that. Pence has one. The president has one. And then someone else in the Defense Department also has one. They have, those are the codes, and they change those codes out every administration. So they're all new codes. But if someone would have gotten there were two on the day of this insurrection, there were two major items that were located in the Capitol at the time that didn't exist anywhere else in the world: the nuclear football and the votes, and the electoral college votes. Those two things, if they would have fallen into the hands of any of those insurrectionists, this could have been a bigger problem than what we experienced. People don't understand the gravity of that, and clearly neither does the Republican Party. Or certain members of the Republican Party don't understand the gravity of the fact that someone could have launched us into a World War III.
And on top of that, in that Capitol on the day of the attempted insurrection, was the first and second in line to be president. You know,
yes.
Mike Pence and what's her butt? You know,
Nancy Pelosi. Yes, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. All in that, and Mike Pence's family was there, and you know what? That just says even more about Pence and his yellow belly, backboneless cowardness. Your fucking family was threatened, bro, and you still didn't do anything about it. You still didn't do you didn't find that the fact that that dude incited that crowd to come down there and put your family's life in danger, and you didn't find that that was a reason that the dude that you're working for was unfit for duty, you lackluster zilch? Are you kidding me?
What was he meant to do? What would you have wanted?
He could have invoked the 25th Amendment.
Is that his call?
That's his call. That's what Nancy Pelosi was calling for him to do. That is the vice president's call. He could have then and there made a Barney Fife move and nipped this shit in the bud. I don't get this. I honestly. So who do the I know I'm jumping ahead of you. Who do the Republicans blame? Who do they blame for the insurrection? Who do they blame? Was it just a fluke? Was it just a happenstance? Who's to blame?
The hilarious thing was, okay, so like Trump's lawyers, that were leading the defense during this impeachment trial that has taken course over 4 days last week, they were just bumbling idiots. They weren't saying anything. They showed like several clips of people saying fight out of context to be like, see, everyone says fight.
No, they showed the same clip when I was
out of context.
When I was watching their videos and their video presentations, the one thought came to my mind: did someone leave the DVD on repeat? It was the same shit over and 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 over.
Well, and hilariously, like, they went up on stage and were like, well, we're actually very impressed with what you guys have shown. We think you've... They, like, openly admitted that, like, they got fucked. But it didn't matter because this was a totally bipartisan, this was totally partisan. This whole thing, it didn't matter. Everyone went in there, including the Democrats. Like, everyone went in there knowing what they were going to vote, regardless of what the trial happened. So much so that Ted Cruz and a couple other senators, Republican senators, actually met with the defense team and gave them pointers. These guys are the jurors. Yeah. These are the guys who made the decision. That is so corrupt. That is so overly corrupt. I don't even know if that's legal. Apparently it is. Yeah. And it just kind of shows that our government's a fucking joke. I don't know why this wouldn't have been held like a normal court hearing, but it wasn't.
And it's not. And that's the Constitution, man. Yeah. There is a huge separation. Yeah, 'cause
this is more of a political thing than a.
Yeah, it's not a trial. Thing. I mean, they use the word trial, but it's not a criminal trial, unfortunately. It set the precedence. I just think that I knew when this shit started, when the articles of impeachment were written up in the House, I'm like, nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. Those guys are still afraid of him. Because they wear the R on their chest. It's just forever going to be them against the other, and it's never going.
What I think it did do. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
What I think it did do, though, is it, for everyone paying attention, they were able to express all the problems that happened that day and why Trump is responsible for it. So, like, I think if you were actively watching that, and there's always going to be those bozo Republicans, but, like, I don't think there's any way that you watch that trial and you're like, oh yeah, Trump's an innocent man. Like, I don't think that's the takeaway. I think what happened more of, like, him not getting impeached was more of just them being like, well, he's not in office, so it doesn't matter.
It did.
I think it was more of that. It does matter, and but ultimately, I think also the Democratic senators didn't want to bring in what's it called? Like witnesses. Like, they didn't want to bring witnesses to the stand because they didn't want to take it too long. Because right now, and the Republicans made this point, and I actually think they're right about this, is like the Democrats now have the Senate, and they don't want to waste time on this. They want to get stuff done, which is true. I don't think they want to waste time on this. They actually want to start making some changes and stuff. But What is fortunate, however, it does look like Trump will be going to actual court very soon for what he did in Georgia and how he was, basically threatening that person to alter the votes for him. So it does look like he's going to go to trial for that, and it also doesn't look very good for him. It's pretty damning.
What I'm
that
hoping,
phone call is pretty damning.
It is.
Yeah.
When he called that the secretary or whatever, that the person over the election down there in Georgia,
right.
Find the votes.
Find them. Yeah,
this is one thing that I'm hoping will happen, and this may be a long shot, Jake, is that all of those Trumpers, the diehard Trumpers that believed every word that he said, the QAnon people that believed that, during the Biden inauguration that the National Guard was going to come out and arrest Biden and arrest all this. I'm hoping that those diehard Trump supporters will see all of the lies that were told, how none of what he said came to truth, how he misled them. The one guy that's from Arizona, the shirtless, good-looking guy with the horns on his head that stormed the Capitol.
yeah.
That dude,
the QAnon shaman.
Yeah, I want to interview that guy just to have him wear the horns and the Braveheart makeup.
It'd be a very interesting interview.
It would be. I mean, I'd be hitting on him the whole time just to make him feel uncomfortable. But he's a good-looking dude, and I'm not into the Harrys. That's a joke. It's a brutal laugh.
Except for Harry Styles.
Except for Harry Styles, yeah. The English ones. I mean, good Lord, come on. Who doesn't like an English biscuit? Nevertheless, he even has released a statement from
Jaffa Cake, yeah.
from the jail in Virginia that he currently sits in, that he feels completely 100% misled. That everything that he had learned from Trump was not true. Nothing came to fruition.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping the takeaway from this will be.
Some of
these Trump supporters are going to have the veil lifted off of their eyes to say, look, this is a game of politics. He played a very different game. Let's move on. Let's put your support behind. There's nothing wrong with being a Republican, even though today I wouldn't tell many people that I was. But there's nothing wrong with being a Republican, but being a Trump supporter, let's put that to bed. The dude misled you all. Let's just go back to playing the game of the fucked up monopoly game known as U.S. politics.
Yeah, well, and something interesting is happening to the GOP. What's happening is both Trump supporters are saying, well, the people who voted against because there were a few Republicans who actually voted that he was guilty. And some of the GOP that are supporting Trump are saying, like, well, we're just going to leave the Republican Party then, and we're going to start our own party. And then some of the GOP that are saying that he should have been found guilty are saying that they're going to start their own party. So something interesting is happening in the Republican Party. There's a division there, absolutely, and it's interesting, and. I'm a pretty. I would never claim to be Democrat. I would never claim to be anything. I'm pretty independent. But this looks good for the Democrats.
It does.
Because if the Republican Party is split like this, that just splits their vote.
Yeah, a house divided amongst itself cannot stand.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
And the thing is that the Republican Party, there are really, really great people that are Republicans that I feel that I'm starting to feel a little bit of empathy for. That it seems like they just got caught up in the whirlwind of, being their party, supporting their party, and their unfortunate candidate was a loose cannon, mad, sadistic orange man. And there may be a majority of them that don't feel that that's the case. And the reason why I say that is because Biden is president now. If all of the Republicans would have voted right down party lines, we most likely wouldn't have Biden as president, we would have had a closer race. So some of those Republicans had to have, a come to Jesus moment, or some of those Republicans had to realize that this man that's representing their party is very damaging. So what needs to happen now is that the Republican Party has to find some way to piece it together, or they're not going to exist anymore. And from what you just said, kind of goes along with the thought that I've been having. They're not going to exist anymore if they can't get their shit together, and they can't come together as a Republican Party. And I said this on a couple of shows back. Donald Trump has not only segregated and separated the country, he's destroyed an entire political party. That is some danger. And if you don't think for a minute that them not finding him guilty and impeaching him to block him from becoming a president ever again and holding a public office, you think this old man isn't going to go away until we've got until we're reading his eulogy. He's not going to go away. And has to be.
He has been pretty fucking quiet, though, I will say.
Well, that's probably because they wanted him to be quiet. Or he knew that there wasn't nothing that he could say to make it. Number one, he doesn't have Twitter or Facebook anymore.
Yeah, true.
So that's the only reason why he's only been throwing a fit, with Melania in the room or whatever. But you think he's gone? He's not.
But if he wanted to talk to someone, he could easily just call Fox News or anyone he wanted, and they would bring him on.
Probably so. The funny thing is that whatever happened to burning a bridge? I know a lot of us, our parents teach us not to burn bridges, but Trump has set so many bridges on fire, but they don't seem to burn. I mean, he's thrown Fox News under the table, but if he called them up, Fox would take their call. I don't get it. He's attacked Ted Cruz, but Ted Cruz is attached to every strand of hair coming out of Trump's left nut. He's attacked all these people, and they're still all. How is it that he burns a bridge, but the bridge doesn't burn?
But Ted Cruz is one of those psychopaths. Because I don't think this really started with Trump. What led to Trump, I think, ultimately started back with Sarah Palin. And back then, after that election, Sarah Palin started the Tea Party movement. And that's where Ted Cruz came from. He's part of that Tea Party movement. And I feel like a lot of the Tea Partiers turned into Trumpers. Like, that's what happens. Mm. Like, they're just very far-right authoritarians.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point. I never tied that together.
So, like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, the Republican Party was already sort of divided. You had these Tea Partiers, and you had people, a little bit more centered, like Mitt Romney, So, I don't know. It's interesting, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in 2 years, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in 4 years.
What I'm hoping to happen in 2 years, when it comes to these senators that found no fault in Trump doing this, this is where I am hoping the generation, I think it's Generation Xers or Generation Zers or whoever the young people are now, that are currently 18 and 19 years old, that were marching so much for Black Lives Matter, and all those guys that voted to elect President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm hoping that those people continue to have that passion, and I'm hoping that those Generation Zers or whoever pass that down to the next generation. That 16 and 17-year-old today that's going to be 18 and 19 in 2 years, or my numbers may be off. 15 and 16-year-old that's going to be 18 and 19 in 2 years. I hope that they're passing that information on. I know that a lot of those 15 and 16-year-olds today were sitting there watching all of this unfold. Those are the ones that are going to be voted in 2 years. And I'm hoping that they remember this when they're reelecting those senators, because that's where the Senate clearly has they've got to clear the bench, man. They've got to unseat some of these people that have been career politicians for so long that just can't see straight anymore. And that's what I'm hoping in 2 years. That's what I'm hoping in 4 years, is that these people that are these young ones that are sitting there, because dude, the Black Lives movement that happened after the George Floyd thing was spearheaded by the young people. Now, I know I've railed against the young people on many shows that I'm a part of, but it was their voice. It was their movement that took to the streets and were passionate about this. That same group of people are the ones that need, and I feel that a large portion of them were also the ones that went into the polls in November of 2020. So I'm hoping that when they return to the polls in 2 years, they remember these individuals that did not support basic morals, that did not uphold, in the way that you look at it, the Constitution that they've been sworn to uphold. I'm hoping that they remember that in 2 years. I know that I will. And my number one thing in 2 years is to, I don't care if I have to file for bankruptcy, is to launch a full gamut to campaign against our current seated governor. He has to go. If he runs for re-election, I don't know what he'd be an idiot to do so, but he needs to go. Yeah. But I'm hoping that in 2 years from now, when these senators that are seated now are up for re-election, these Generation Zers or Xers or XYZ or Kyle XY, I hope they all remember.
Well, Xers are my parents, so.
This moment. I hope they remember this moment and they take that with them when they go to the polls. 15 and 16-year-olds.
While we're on the topic of generations, like my generation, the millennials, we're, in the next election, we're gonna be at that age where we can finally start maybe seeing some millennials actually run for Senate. We've got a couple like AOC and stuff. She's, in the House of Representatives and stuff. And in a few years, I think we'll see more millennials start to take some of those seats away, which is great because I think, we're like the first generation that, grew up in a world where gay marriage was totally normal.
Yeah.
And like a lot, things that were issues, for a lot of these Gen Xers and the boomers, just aren't issues for us, like gay marriage isn't even on our radar. We're like, why are we even talking about that?
Yeah.
So I think if we see more people like that, I think it's just a good thing overall.
We call that new money. And I'm a millennial too, Jake. I'm just a millennial times 4. But we need some new money in DC is what you're explaining, and I'm hoping that that's the case. We did have a couple young new senators and new politicians come in, and the Biden administration brought in a couple of people that were younger than their predecessors, and so I think it's time for a turn. It really is, and I think it starts now because we've never seen a stronger movement and a more passionate group of people. I mean, look at the little girl that did the poem at the inauguration. You know what I mean? She's part of a movement that we've never seen before. Those are the ones that we're hoping are going to stand up. It's no longer our grandparents that are fighting for our future. It is now our tomorrow fighting for our today. Holy shit, that was really damn. Jake, look what's in my pants. That was delicious. What?
Woo! We'll see. Before we move on to a different topic, like I think also just Biden's approval rating right now, and you can always take those things with a grain of salt, but like it is so much higher than any previous president for a long time, mainly because of what he's been doing with the coronavirus, and he's actually been handling it and doing a pretty good job, as good as he can.
Dude, if we would have had Biden over this, or if we would, not even just Biden, if we would have had
anyone else,
if we would have had one of them monkeys with an Elon Musk chip in the brain back in March, dude, you and I would be sitting in the studio right now, me attempting to suck face with you, and we'd be all good by June. We'd be back. I'd be on the beach. We'd be all good. But no, we dude, see, this is just an example. 15, 16-year-olds. This is an example of what Biden has done. Not just because he's a Democrat, not just because he's Joe Biden, just because he's a president. He's a leader. This is what happens when you get a leader. We could have
he's a human.
And a human. Oh my God. He's
just a human, because I think as a human, you're just like, I don't want people to die. We've had almost 1 million people die in this country.
In this country alone. And what the
500,000.
And you want to see another prime example? Look at Australia. I think Australia, the country, is now reporting less than 2,000 active cases right now of coronavirus. And they're still masked up. They're still under quarantine. They're still social distancing. And they've got less than 2,000 total cases in the entire country. And they're still following protocol because they understand the science that 2,000 cases can definitely breed 200,000 cases. And they're still locking down until they eradicate the 2,000 cases. I'm telling you, man, it can be done with the proper leadership. And these other countries are running circles around
They also
this.
know Americans are coming over there.
Yeah.
So
they're like, here comes the Americans. Here they come. Oh my God. Leading the brigade. Tom Hanks coming back to Australia.
Truthfully, it shouldn't be called the China virus. It should be called the American virus, because we're the ones spreading it more than any other country.
And that was only because we had no leadership, and now we have a leadership. Yeah. I couldn't imagine the immense pressure on that administration right now. I mean, just like when we had the Obama administration take over, I mean, Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, came in under some extreme war, military threat of terrorism. He adopted all of that when he became president. That ain't
a recession.
And a recession, and that ain't nothing compared to a global pandemic that Biden has come. Man, if it was me, I'd be like, oh hell no, I don't want this job. Screw y'all. I'm out. Peace, deuces.
But if you look at the numbers, right? A couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, we peaked. We got to the highest numbers we had ever seen.
Yep.
But since that peak, which was right after, which would have been the 2 week point of when Biden took office. Funny enough. But at that point, since then, steady decline, and I don't think we're going to peak again. I think we're on a steady decline, and I think it will keep declining. I'm very optimistic about the way things are looking with coronavirus. I don't think it's going to end soon, but I think we are beginning to see the beginning of the end.
We are, and what we're doing,
it's still gonna be rough for probably the next year, but
it's still gonna be rough.
We're heading in the right direction,
and we're not gonna give. It's still gonna be very challenging to get over the hump. But I've been seeing the numbers as well. Arizona is still in the red zone. We're close to the yellow zone, but we're still in the red danger zone. But you're right. Hospitalizations are down, which means that people that are contracting severe cases of the virus actually have a place to go. There's beds that are becoming available. And one thing that I will applaud Arizona for, not Ducey, but the state of Arizona and Dr. Kara Christ, I will applaud the fact that we have now administered more vaccines than cases of coronavirus since it all began. There are more people that have now been vaccinated, maybe just the shot one, but have now been vaccinated that have actually had the coronavirus. That there is a turn. Now that's only about 1.5 million people, and we've got about 6.2 to go. But nevertheless, what we're trying to do is get all the old people out of the way. And when it's going to get real fun, Jake, is when they open this shit up wide. And what the Biden administration is doing is that they're getting this vaccine where vaccines are supposed to go. Yes, it's fun driving through, the State Farm stadium parking lot to get your arm stuck. But where these vaccines need to end up and where we're going to eradicate this is when we've got the green wall, when we've got the Mart walls, when we've got the VCSs, when those pharmacies have these vaccinations and they're administering these vaccinations,
and it's like the flu shot,
When the vaccinations are saturated this country, that's when this thing is going to take a quick turn. When we open it up to anybody and everybody who wants it. That's when it's going to take, and I believe that there are already a couple of states that Walgreens and Walmart and CVS pharmacies actually are administering the vaccinations. That's when this thing is going to take a turn, and I believe that I smell that coming within the next few months. I really do.
Well, and the really good news is that Johnson & Johnson is working on a single dose shot.
Oh, yeah!
And once that comes...
I mean, who wouldn't want a vaccine from a company known for making your baby's ass dry? Who doesn't want a baby diaper vaccine? I know I do.
Absolutely.
And you know what, Jake? And I share a little bit in your optimistic-isms. That's a really bad word. I share a little bit in your optimisms because there's nothing more that I want. I want to be able to hug my kids again. I want to be able to hold my kids again. I want to be able to embrace the people that I love without, having now, you know what I mean? It's so funny that the CDC last week released, additional study that double masking increases your protection to 99.96% of the time. Jake, I've been double masking since December. Thanks for catching up to me, CDC. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
But I
knew that though.
Oh yeah, they knew it. And I can't wait for. And it seems like the anti-maskers are a little less vocal at this point. It seems like that's kind of squashed down a little bit, or maybe the news is just covering more people.
Well, I think everyone's just kind of gotten used to it.
It's
been a year. How do you not get used to it at this point?
It'll be a year, but I just want to be able to. And I honestly, Jake, I'm pull the curtain back fully here on Jake and Cory podcast. I'm probably going to have to see my therapist about this when this is all said and done, because my OCD and germophobia is going to take some time to deal with, because I'm still, even if the coronavirus is eradicated, I'm still going to look at everybody as having the virus. And that's going to be something mentally that I'm going to have to work through. But we're on the downturn. We're doing the right things. People are getting stuck and in the arm by a needle, and that's what needs to happen. And
the nice thing is, once this all ends, if you were an introvert before, everyone's going to be an introvert because no one remembers how to talk to each other. So it's going to be great.
Well, nobody was talking to each other before the damn pandemic, Jake. Remember these things we called cell phones and smartphones?
That's
nobody
bullshit.
talked to each other. Everybody had their nose in their phone. So when the pandemic is over, congratulations, folks. We get to go back to ignoring people walking on the sidewalk.
But we can ignore people in a Chili's.
And we can ignore people with no mask on. So when the girl that I'm looking at is, and I'm trying to make the sexy fat guy eyes to her, now, instead of her just having to turn her head away because she's not interested, now I'll be able to actually see her frown at my massive girth, and I will be able to see her mouth turn up in disgust once the pandemic is over.
That.
I can't wait for it, Jake.
Well, hey Cory, I was wanting to ask you if you heard about.
Is this the question?
No, this is actually kind of a sad story.
Oh.
Did you see the like 70 car pileup in Dallas?
I came across something on Instagram, I believe, and I didn't take a deep dive, but it was just like car after car after car, semi after semi, and it was like a group of like 5 cars that were in this video, and then a semi came up and just crunched all of those, and it was like, I think the caption said black ice.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you're referring to? Yeah, I definitely
70 cars.
How many deaths? How many deaths?
I think 10.
Oh my god.
I think 10. Yeah, insane. I saw some videos of just like semis going like full speed, just
dude. When I
stop.
When I vacationed before the pandemic, when I would vacation in Prescott in the winter, if it was snowing, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't want it. Prescott has lots of hills. I didn't want to go anywhere because I was just too scared. Why would those people be out on the road?
Well, how much of this is on the city though, for not properly icing the roads and knowing if there's black ice on the freeway, they should probably close the freeway. Like,
I mean,
much of this?
Was it? I don't know what I've only heard what black ice is, but is it? I guess it's like an invisible ice, but it's extremely slippery. Was it
Yeah, it's just like a coat of ice.
Was it a
road.
big freaking patch of black ice?
Just the road was just. Yeah, the road was just ice. Like, it was just cold, like, and snowing. So
imagine being
all over the place.
Imagine being car number one.
Yikes.
Car number one. And you're the one that just caused the train. You know what? I was looking at that for a minute, and I would be like, you know what? If I saw all that up ahead of me, I'd be in the shoulder. I'd be in the bank, or I'd rather hit a tree or something.
I think a lot of people were, but the way it was like a freeway. So like, there was just the medians on the side.
Oh, but wait a minute. In black ice, you can't steer.
Yeah, you kind of can, but like
if I even tried to turn the wheel,
they were in the median. So like, even if you went into the median, you're still running into cars in front of you.
But I'm talking about like go off road. Like it seemed like there was like some forestry or something.
It was a freeway, so like there were medians on the side.
Oh, so there were walls and stuff on each side. Yeah. Like when you're driving down the 51 here in Arizona.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Oh. So there was just nothing you could do.
Yeah, you could maybe slide against that wall and like hope to slow yourself down, but that's. But
and then I'm thinking, even if you like were able to maneuver your car where you were going to slide into the pileup and you go in tail first, that wouldn't do anything because the person behind you is coming in head first. So
right.
There's just nothing you can do at that time, man.
Yeah, and you won't be able to turn around like that.
No.
And I saw a what's it called? Like a dash cam, and part of the issue was the visibility was so low that you couldn't even really see the cars in front of you.
So they couldn't even, and it was at night, wasn't it?
It was in the daytime, but like it was just so snowy and cold, and
it was a disturbing video. It was a disturbing video.
Yeah, just insane.
So you find that there may be some culpability on the city's behalf?
I think so. I think like you should properly salt your roads, and if they're not salted, you should probably close the freeways, especially if the people are dumb, that they're gonna just be like, I need to get somewhere, and part of it is capitalism too, where they're like, I gotta get to work or whatever, or I'm coming home from work.
Now, Jake, this may be to cut you off. This may be different. Did something also happen in Fort Worth? Oh wait, this is Dallas. Fort Worth is Dallas, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I just pulled it up. 6 killed, 133 cars.
Oh, it grew, huh?
It says 133 car pileup in Fort Worth, Texas. 130.
It also says at least
6 killed in 133 vehicle pileup crash on I-35 West in Fort Worth. At least 65 people received treatment either at the scene or in local hospitals on Thursday of last week. Less than 20 remain hospitalized, according to a MedStar Health there. And this story that I'm reading here has been updated since Friday, February 12th. Including several 18-wheel. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's like, why was that freeway even open? If that was such an issue,
Yeah.
It's insane.
But I would imagine that in this day and age, if they would have closed the freeway down, there would have been a large group, a segment of vocal individuals that were like, "You're trying to hinder us from doing business and conducting business and making money and shit like that."
You just got to take the back streets, man. Like, you know.
I wouldn't be on a freeway in any kind of snow. Oh my God, I'm looking at the pictures here. This is horrible. Dude, semis on their side, semis on top of semis.
You know, here, like, Arizona is known for all the construction we do. They close full freeways when they have to do construction.
There's a freeway closed right now as we're recording this. I guarantee you in Arizona, because we love to close down a freeway here.
Yeah, we love that.
We don't have many of them, but we love to fucking close one down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. But, like, you know, if they're going to do that for construction, you could definitely do that for some fucking black ice, you know?
That is absolutely insane. And yes, this was the video that I saw on Instagram, and it was someone in another car on the other side of the freeway going very slow, and it was just crap. Dude, if you've never heard the sound of that support frame in a car buckle, it is a sound like no other. If you ever witnessed an accident, that is a sound that sends chills through any normal human's bodies. And I don't know, every car manufacturer, when that support frame in every car that's designed has a frame that is supposed to triangle up. It's supposed to triangle up. And the reason why it triangles up is that it's supposed to avoid the engine going through into the cab of the car. When that triangle that is straight breaks, that's the sound you're hearing. And it is a sound like no other. It is the most disturbing sound on the planet to hear that break. That you just know is just like a level of danger. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. That sound, man. And that's what was in that video. It was just that sound over and over and over. And I don't think you can remake it. I don't think there's a digital processor out there that can duplicate that sound. It is the most unique sound set at the most unique decibel, and it is disturbing. Worse, 15 times worse than Jake's fingernails on a chalkboard.
Specifically my nails.
Atlantic, your nails.
Yes.
Indian Ocean, your nails. But yes, I did see this.
So, Facebook Marketplace, huh?
So you know what? You bought that TV off of Facebook Marketplace, and I found it very interesting. And I know that we have just a few minutes left here in the show, but I've never dealt with Facebook Market. Isn't it just a shinier, chromed up Craigslist? And can you get some ass on Facebook Marketplace? That's my ultimate question. Can I get an old snarling off of Facebook Marketplace?
Never tried that. But yeah, it is basically like new Craigslist. I do feel it's a little better than Craigslist, though, because it's Facebook. And the reason I say that is because you can literally like, oh, this guy's selling something. Let me check his page and see how sketchy this dude is. You can like check his profile and shit. You know, you send him a message. You're like, okay, how sketchy is this dude? Okay, he seems fine.
Yeah, how many little people do you have hiding in your closet right now?
Yeah, for real. But yeah, it's nice because like you can, just hit him up over Facebook Messenger and be like, hey, you're selling this. I'll meet you on, blank and blank. And,
when you bought the TV, did you go over the person's house or did you meet them at a public place like a QT where there's 15 security cameras?
I actually went to his house. He just gave me his address.
Oh my God. Your pretty little ass would have got abducted and raped, and we would have had another Amber Alert at 12:30 in the morning looking for your little ass.
I didn't go in his house, dude. Coronavirus. He just set the TV on the street, and I just put the money on the street and picked up the TV and took off.
How did the guy not know that you weren't there to hold him up? Or you don't give out people's. I've made some sweaty.
Yeah, I was a little weirded out by that too. I was like, why didn't you just tell me to meet you at like the fucking Carl's Jr. down the street?
Was it a nice house? Was it a crack house? What was the landscaping like?
Well, it was Sun City. You know, it's just some old guy getting rid of his TV.
Oh, you went to Sun. Oh, yeah. There's no crime in Sun City. The biggest crime in Sun City is that you parked your golf cart 2 feet too far to the left.
I also bought a PS2, and for $20 as well. Which this is why I like Facebook Marketplace. Everyone's selling their shit for like way cheaper than it probably should be. Because this dude was selling the TV for like $50, and I was like, "Hey, I'll give you $20 for it." And he's like, "Okay."
I'm gonna go on Facebook Marketplace to see if anybody's selling some Corona-free ass.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's worth a shot.
You know,
that's where I get all my ass.
Your Corona-free ass.
I either go to Whole Foods or Facebook Marketplace. You know, that's where I get my ass.
So the guy gave you his address, and you went over this dude's house. You were on his property. He was most likely looking at you from a window afar, probably, you know, tweezering the old noodle, and just like, this young kid.
Yeah, I could see him. He was actually in his car because he was taking off. Both wearing masks and stuff. You know, it was
Did
fine,
you wipe the
and
TV down before do you wipe down stuff when you bring it into your house?
I'm pretty clean about stuff. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm like for coronavirus. It could be. I get stuff delivered from Walmart all the time, and
I've got some wipies. I
wipe everything down. You know, it's so funny that I actually found some wipies. I haven't been able to find some Clorox disinfectant wipes. I finally found some at Target, and I was able to order from Target, pick up in the parking lot, and it was the only thing I ordered. A $3.25 bottle of 35 Clorox wipes, and Target delivered it to my car.
That's pretty nice. I am fully vaccinated now, though. So
yeah, but that doesn't mean you don't let your guard down, Jake.
I know. But at the same time, I do want to stress this though. I don't think we should undersell these vaccines, because I think we are underselling the vaccines a little bit.
How sway?
You know, because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility in like a month or two, if there's a group of us, like let's say like 4-5 people, and we've all gotten our second dose of the vaccine, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we could get together and you know, have a indoor dinner together. I don't think we should undersell how effective these vaccines are, because they are very effective.
They are very effective.
The problem is the way let me collect my thoughts here. How contagious coronavirus is makes herd immunity a lot harder than something like the flu. Because coronavirus is so contagious, they say it's, you know, if you're exposed to it, there's like a 90% chance that you're going to catch it if you're exposed to it or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you're not wearing a mask and stuff.
Yeah.
So like if it gets in you, there's a 90% chance that you're going to catch it. So because of how contagious it is, we need to have at least 90% of the population vaccinated, basically. Correct. Is how that works to reach herd immunity. But at the same time, if you're getting together with a group of fellow vaccinated people, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we could have, you know, a bottle of wine together at some point in the near future. I'm not saying we should have concerts and we should have movies and we should stop wearing masks. I'm just saying,
but that goes to...
I don't think we should undersell the vaccine. And also, if we keep underselling the vaccine, people are going to think to themselves, well, why get it? You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. But that's taking the word, unless you're going to have people say, you know, if your friends are going to, you know, show each other their vaccination cards and stuff like that. Other than that, dude, you're pretty much. If you don't,
they
you're pretty
give you
much
a very convenient card.
You're taking it on the word of some other people, and I'm sorry, Nick Sapon lies. So you don't want to, you know, take the word of other people that, hey, have you gotten your full vaccination?
I'm perfectly,
Jake, I see what you're saying, but I don't think I wouldn't support you doing that right now. I mean, if you and I were fully vaccinated,
that's what I said in a couple months.
I still wouldn't do it. Even if we were both fully vaccinated, I still wouldn't do it.
Like, we'll see what's happening in a couple months, and we'll see what the CDC is saying.
Yeah,
but like, obviously always just follow what the CDC is saying.
Yeah, they
But I'm just
haven't
saying
lied
that
yet. They haven't misled us yet in this thing, and I think that when
not intentionally, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, when you're talking about something that no one has ever experienced before, of course there's going to be some things that are going to come out that are going to be later disproved, but I see what you're saying, about getting together with other people that have been fully vaccinated, but unless you're sitting there and you're verifying their cards, I wouldn't trust a motherfucker
I'm perfectly comfortable with people with saying to someone, hey, if you want to hang out with me, bring your fucking vaccine card, because they do give you a little convenient vaccine card because you have to bring it on your second dose to like say, hey, I got it the first time.
Well, Jake,
so I am perfectly comfortable with saying, hey, if you want to hang out with me, you got to bring your card. Me and my brother-in-law, we're vaccinated, and he's like, hey, if you want to come to my Super Bowl party, bring your ticket. And it's because he's fully vaccinated.
You're vaccinated.
So.
Well, Jake, I've been fully vaccinated. You want to hang out? But I lost my card.
No, fuck you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We should just attach it to our, like we could put a little laminate on our mask and put our cards in the mask.
They call that the mark of the beast, Jake. They call that the mark of the beast, and Revelations has warned us against it.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
No, I see what you're saying.
I really
you just
do
want
think
a party. You just want a party.
No. I'm not saying I want a party. I don't think it's safe to get together with, more than 4 people if you're all vaccinated. Like, seriously, like, no, don't go to a restaurant, don't go to a bar, but like, if there's 4 people in a month or two, when we're doing about 2 million a day, so like we'll see where we're at in a month or two.
I'm not going anywhere for the rest of my life. It's just going to be me and my Centrum Silver.
And I also, I think it's fair of you to say, hey, I feel uncomfortable, and that's totally fair too. And I think that'll be a lot of people for a while.
Oh yeah, but you know what?
Even when the CDC is like, "Oh, it's cool, go on outside," I think a lot of people are still going to be like,
Yeah, the thing is that I have met so many people that say, "Yeah, we honor your comfort level," and then they don't. So I don't know how that's going to work, because I'm going to be uncomfortable for quite some time. I'm telling you that right now, no matter how much it hurts my business. Yeah. But I'm going to be uncomfortable for some time. And, I was, before the pandemic, I was uncomfortable around people. You sneeze and you cough around me, I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm fat, sure, yeah. I'm unhealthy, I wasn't on Centrum Silver. You know what I mean? So you sneeze around.
But now you are. And this show is brought to you by Centrum Silver.
The show is brought to you by
so you don't die of coronavirus.
Yes, and you can get your Centrum Silver delivered right to your car at your local Walmart. But and when you do your Centrum Silver, follow it up with some Immuno Plus with vitamin D emergency gummies.
Absolutely.
And for those times of life that just have you a little backed up, always introduce a healthy dose of Metamucil.
Well, Cory, I've enjoyed this show. I missed you last week.
That makes one of us.
I'm happy we're back. I will see you next week.
This is show number 51?
This is 53?
53, because I only have a 53 show contract.
Oh, well, we're going to have to talk about that after the show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been great. Join Jake next week when he has his new co-host, Jake Sapon.
Yeah.
Cory Sapon.
This is, what episode is this? This is episode...
I thought it was 51. I thought I had 2 more to go. Not that I've been counting.
Yeah. You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I only signed on for 53.
Join us next week for our review of Avengers Endgame.
I will sign on for another 53 episodes if I receive a personal Discord message from our boy, Austin. If Austin personally asks me to sign on for 53 more episodes, I will. And Jake, you cannot reach out to him and tell him to do this. He has to hear this organically and send me a Discord message stating these exact words: Cory, the lover of my soul, the keeper of my heart, will you please do the world a just and sign on for 53 more episodes of the Jake and Cory podcast? If I do not get that from him, I will follow through with the end of my contract at 53 episodes.
All right.
Those are your marching orders, Austin.
Make sure you check out the other shows on the channel, like the Loner Gamecast, which we do live every Monday, and it's posted everywhere else on Tuesday. Also, we've got a new chick flick show that me and my sister do, where we watch chick flicks, and yeah, we got a new one of those coming out. It actually probably came out yesterday if you're listening to this. So thank you very much. We love you. Subscribe. All that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Lonercast. Check out Fat Guy Radio Show. Bye.